Welcome back to Operation Let's Get Educated. We have your weekly update. I'm Elise.
I'm Dawny.
And we have your update for Human Trafficking of the Week. On October 1st, in Alberta, Canada, 26 were charged in online child sexual exploitation investigation. A long list of suspects from across the province have been arrested and are facing charges of online child sexual exploitation after an Alert's Internet Child Exploitation investigation.
U.S. Marshals recovered 11 children on the same October 1st of this year in New Orleans in Operation Summer Rescue. The U.S. Marshals announced Wednesday that it recovered 11 children in a 2-month rescue operation in New Orleans. Michigan State Police on October 1st located 25 missing children from Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties with Operation Miss-a-Kid. Michigan State Police, with assistance from the Special Investigation Division Fraud Unit, located 25 missing children from Wayne, Oakland, and Macomb counties. The sweep is part of a strategic plan launched by the MSP 2nd District to prioritize locating at-risk youth and missing children.
In Pennsylvania, on October 1st, 10 men sentenced to prison for their roles in a child exploitation enterprise and conspiracy. 10 men from around the country have been sentenced for participating in a child pornography enterprise and conspiracy. Acting Assistant Attorney General Brian Rabbitt of the Justice Department Criminal Division and U.S. Attorney William McSwain have announced this. In Texas, a North Texas man arrested at the airport on October 2nd was charged with exploiting child in Philippines. A North Texas man was arrested at a Houston airport last week and charged with international child exploitation crimes, the U.S. Attorney's Office announced on Wednesday.
In Houston, Texas, on October 4th, 5 human trafficking victims were rescued. 16 arrests were made in a massive Houston-wide sting operation. Operation Patriot, a collaborative human trafficking sting operation between 23 agencies, has resulted in 46 arrests and the rescue of 5 victims. The arrests took place in 2 missions over a 4-day span in September. On October 4th of 2020, Delaware County man was sentenced to 35 years for sexually abusing and recording the abuse of a young boy. United States Attorney William M. McSwain announced that Archie Kissing, 25, of Aston, Pennsylvania, was sentenced to 35 years in prison.
Not enough time, if you ask me. And our next one, October 6th, which is today, 13 arrested for trying to meet teens for sex in Tulare County, deputies say. 13 men were arrested after authorities say they used social media to try to solicit children for explicit photos and sex in Tulare County. On this side, more than a dozen predators busted during Operation Safe Teen. These are some of the men that were arrested in this. This weekend, the Tulare County Sheriff's Office wrapped up a 2-month investigation targeting online predators. During this operation, detectives with the Special Victims Unit and Human Trafficking Unit created numerous fake social media accounts posing as 14-year-old girl and 15 to 17-year-old boy. Thank you to those officers that did that and to all the officers that were able to arrest and get these guys off the street. The reason why we come to you with this information is because I think it's hard to believe that this much can happen in the United States. I think that we are not aware enough of the daily trafficking victims that are found, the people that are arrested for exploiting our children, and we just want to share that with you on the show. So today we are going to be talking about the business of trafficking. It is a big business.
As you can see, all right, we've got up here, annual revenue is in the billions for human trafficking, $150 billion a year. As you can see on the right, Starbucks, Nike, Facebook, and Disney, that combined, are $152 billion a a year industry.
Can you guys believe that? I mean, I'm mind blown over that.
I can't believe it. No.
How many people go to Starbucks every morning?
I know. Well, that's what makes it so lucrative.
And it's crazy that we don't know about this. I mean, it's like, what was it? Starbucks. What was the other
Disney,
one? Disney,
Facebook,
and Nike combined.
That's for 1 year of human trafficking.
And how is it? I mean, we know about Starbucks. We know about Nike. We know about Facebook because we're all on it every day. How is it that we don't know about a $150 billion industry? There is something worrisome about that.
Oh, beyond worrisome.
So annually, so this is taken from the Forbes Human Trafficking. Every day, thousands of women, men, and children are trafficked worldwide for various exploitative purposes. The International Labor Organization, ILO, estimates that there are currently 25 million victims of human trafficking around the world. We did touch on this last week, but we are coming back to this because it is such an important topic.
Women make up the largest proportion of traffickers. In some parts of the world, women trafficking women is the norm, according to the 2017 Global Report on Trafficking in Persons by the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, which covers 155 countries. So
Let's talk about that.
Why are women used as traffickers? What is the appeal?
To me, I don't know, to be honest with you, but to me, I would think because women seem more trustworthy, they're probably able to get away with a lot more. Women are maternal, so they're supposed to be motherly and protective of children, so it's very easy.
An easy lure, especially for females, female victims, girls, young women. I would say women of all ages, actually. The lure is there. Having women as traffickers is in demand.
Yes.
It is the way to get people to listen to you and to do what you want them to do.
Well, especially
make them trust
children.
you.
Yeah, vulnerable people such as children or women that are looking for jobs at salons, all these different places, massage, healthcare, all these different areas that are actually, some of them being traffickers themselves are recruiting women for these different things.
Exactly.
So, on to the next slide. Human trafficking often involves legitimate services of the banking system, transportation companies, the hospitality business, healthcare providers, and digital social media platforms.
So we did touch on that a little bit. We talked about healthcare, but would you be surprised to learn that some healthcare providers are actually contributing to the trafficking of their patients?
It really doesn't. I mean, it's hard to imagine that people that are supposed to be caring for other people are in healthcare or these other areas are actually part of such a big criminal enterprise. But it's the truth.
The facts are there.
The facts, and how are these people doing it? I mean, I know there was something about migrants smuggling by land and sea that continues around the world. But it's not just that. It's within our own system. And I think that's the thing that makes this business so lucrative, is because it is in these systems that we trust and that we use every day.
Exactly. All right. So annually, the business of human trafficking, we touched on this earlier, globally generates an estimated $150 billion in profits, according to the International Labor Organization.
Yep. So how does that happen?
The biggest proponent, the largest amount of profits made annually from human trafficking is sexual exploitation, which I think was about $80 billion a year out of that $150 billion. So we're talking about one victim. You sell drugs, you other types of criminal enterprises, you can only use once. A human trafficking victim can be sold 20 times a night, 365 days a year, and potentially make $350,000 a year.
Right. So why
That's
wouldn't
one
these
victim.
why wouldn't these people do that? I mean, it's drug dealers like this, this tweet says, drug dealers sell a kilo of heroin once. Traffickers sell a 13-year-old girl 20 times a night, 365 days a year, potentially making $350,000 a year off of that one girl.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is the business. This is the business of this.
And the fact that the lives of humans are now looked at as valuable commodities for the market to get billions of dollars is scary to me. Honestly, it scares me.
Well, because like any business, you're looking to build your profits.
Yep.
And unfortunately, with these types of criminals, there is no moral code. They're going to be looking for business any way they can find it. So that includes social media. That includes, like we talked about last time, fraud and coercion, convincing people that you are trustworthy, so they do what you say. It doesn't matter. It's about money.
The sad thing is, Tim Ballard from Operation Underground Railroad. If you guys haven't visited Operation Underground Railroad, go to their Instagram, go to their website. They do trainings. But Tim Ballard is the founder of it, and he actually was discussing the sad fact that girls in other countries, girls and boys, are actually less valuable than a goat. That is how bad it's gotten. A goat is actually bought for more than a child. And if that's happening in lots of other areas of the world, it's happening here too now, especially because U.S. is the biggest consumer of
human trafficking. Yeah, it's the money.
It's where the money is.
To limit their interactions with traditional financial institutions, traffickers often revert to a growing use of virtual currencies like Bitcoin, which can foster a conducive environment for laundering money from criminal activity. So using cryptocurrency, which is what Bitcoin is, helps to hide the criminal aspect of human trafficking. Where is the money coming from? How is the money getting there? All of this can be concealed with cryptocurrency, which makes the whole business easier to, look legitimate, frankly.
Yep. And if you guys don't know what cryptocurrencies are, it's basically a computer file that's stored in a digital wallet app on a smartphone or computer that people can send Bitcoins or part of one to this digital wallet. And you can send them to other people. So if multiple people that are involved in trafficking have Bitcoin or have cryptocurrency, it's easily passed along.
It can be used like on the dark web.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, we're going to be talking a little bit about how, who's affected by this? What business is going on every day behind the scenes that we're not really privy to?
Right.
One of the things that we talked about earlier between us was immigration. We talked about the coyotes who are hired by families to bring their, a lot of times women and children over borders to receive asylum or to escape a dangerous situation. And those people are being taken advantage of by coyotes who will then take these people and with the promise of a new lifestyle, with that promise and trust, they take them and sell them into human slavery. So that is a huge, huge business that we don't hear anything about typically. That's what we're trying to bring awareness to. We really want people to understand that all of this is happening every day. Like, who knew that $150 billion was being made annually on selling human beings?
Right. And the scary part is, it's all about economics. It's the supply and demand. So if there wasn't a demand here, this wouldn't be such a lucrative business. So that's where the question lies, is why is there such a demand? What are we doing to prevent that? I know there's it can go really deep, and there's a lot of feelings behind that. But I know for a fact that on, sites such as Pornhub, a lot of, people look at porn, and that is their choice. But I think people need to understand that these platforms are allowing trafficking. They're looking the other way. So a lot of these girls and women that may be participating in these videos it's not necessarily their choice. And that's a question that we all have to ask ourselves is, are we supporting this? Are we the demand? And I think that's a big question. It's a heavy question, but it's something that we all need to be considering.
Especially because I don't think anybody with a conscience wants to be participating in this business of human slavery.
Right.
I mean, it's horrific what these people are going through. And the fact that people are making money off of the misery of other human beings should say something in itself. And we want to do our part to bring awareness to that so some of this can stop. I mean, if not all of it, that would be the ideal, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
But bringing awareness is just the first step, and that's our goal. That's really what our goal is here, to bring the facts, to really help people understand what's going on so they can make that choice. Do I want to do something to end this? Right.
It's hard to understand that one choice of ours can be a huge impact on the whole. It's and that goes for lots of things, but in this situation, it has to do with people's lives. It has to do with children being tortured and abused. It has to do with women and men and everybody, literally. And this is not, it's easy to just look past it and be like, this is happening in other countries. It doesn't involve us. Well, guess what? It's not. It's in our homes. It is here. And that's when we have to stand up and say, we can't do this anymore. We can't support this. We cannot be the demand that is being supplied. Because if there isn't a demand, there's not a supply. And it's not, and I think it's hard. I think the biggest thing about being educated on this topic is it's really hard. It's hard to take in. It's hard to confront. To confront. We don't even see it because the horrific images and things we would never show on this show. But at the same time, they're out there. And I think we at least need to understand and know that they're out there. We don't necessarily need to see everything, but we do need to see at least some of it to know that this needs to be stopped. This needs to be ended now. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode, part 2 of Operation Let's Get Educated, talking about human trafficking. We will be back next week with some updates on some rescues that happened through the week. And please remember to subscribe, ring that bell, go to our social pages, and hopefully we see you guys next week.